Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So I posted some videos on the Pixel XL. I posted lots of videos on, well, not too many. And I posted a video telling you why you should buy that phone. Well, I have a lot of phones, and there's a million reasons not to buy the Pixel. And that's what this video is about. It's not to bash the Pixel or Pixel owners. It's just to let you know that there are phones out there that definitely compare, and you should consider them. Not the Pixel owners, the people who don't have the Pixel yet. They're probably considering buying a phone. I have a ton of phones that I can pick from, but I picked one in particular. The specs are very similar, and I'll go with another. I'll show you a different phone in a later video, but I picked this one phone in particular, and because the specs are really close to it, and I'll read some of the specs here from both phones, and then I'll show you the phone. So the Pixel XL is LTE for the US. This other phone that I'm going to show you is LTE for the US. The Pixel comes in at 168 grams. This phone comes in at 175 grams, but it still feels the same. This phone is actually dual SIM. They both have AMOLED 5.5-inch displays. And they both have Gorilla Glass 4, the Pixel and this other phone. Now the Pixel runs the latest operating system of 7.1. This phone does not yet, but it is supposed to get 7.1 or 7.0, whichever they give it. But it is currently, it's kind of been confirmed that it is getting, but it's running 6.0.1 right now. The Pixel has a Snapdragon 821, and this phone has a Snapdragon 820. This phone's been out before the Pixel for a little bit. They both have the Adreno 530, very close in specs. The Pixel doesn't have an SD card slot, and this phone has an SD card slot. The Pixel has 4 gigs of RAM. This phone has 4 gigs of RAM. The Pixel comes in 32 and 128 gigs with, again, with no SD card. This phone has an SD card, and it comes with 64 gigs on-bill storage. This phone has a 20 megapixel camera. The Pixel has a 12.3, which is really good. It's really stellar. They both shoot in 4K, and they both shoot 60 frames per second at 1080p. They both have a front-facing 8 megapixel camera. However, the Pixel is pretty good. I'll have to match them up, but now they both have. The Pixel doesn't have stereo speakers, but this phone has stereo speakers. This phone also has a 32-bit audio jack dot and has Dolby audio, so I know you guys are probably figuring out what it is. So they both have the rear-mounted fingerprint readers too. They both have fast charging, but this phone charges a little bit faster than the Pixel. And the Pixel has a 3450 milliamp hour battery, and this phone has a 3250 milliamp hour battery. This phone actually does really good on battery. So there are a ton of phones that I can choose that are similar in specs to the Pixel, that just look different. But I wanted to pick this phone in particular because it is really close in specs, and I think you would really like this phone if you were to pick it up. So one reason not to buy the Pixel is the Axon 7. The Axon 7 has a full metal build. It's got the rear-mounted fingerprint reader, and it also has the dual speakers. So it has a 5.5-inch AMOLED display, just like the Pixel. But one main reason for not buying the Pixel is the price of the Axon 7 and a ton of other phones out there that you could possibly match up against it. But I wanted to pick this phone in particular, like I said, because it's close in specs. Battery life, when compared to the Pixel, this one gets about the same kind of battery life, if not a little better in certain times. The Pixel speaker setup is a bottom-firing speaker. However, you can root and turn on the earpiece, but it is a lot of work, so it's not worth it. This has dual stereo speakers, and they are, to me, still the best sounding, full sounding dual set of stereo speakers that you have. They both have USB Type-C, the fast charging. They both have a headphone jack. Where this phone doesn't shine over the Pixel is somewhat of the camera. The camera on this one, just for some reason, just doesn't measure up against a lot of other phones. But this phone cost $399, and you'll probably be able to catch this on sale in some places. Now again, I have a bunch of other phones here, but I chose this one for that reason. This is probably one of the phones I have closely spec'd to the Pixel XL, and I think this is a good buying option for people who want or who are contemplating buying the Pixel. I would tell them not to buy the Pixel over this phone. The Pixel is a great phone. I really enjoy it, but when you sit down and just kind of look at the meat of it, there are, and this is kind of the obvious. Now, I didn't review the Pixel and buy it, just to be, I got it because of software. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. The software experience on the Pixel is good, but I'm running the Pixel launcher on here, so it's the same. This phone is really fast with the Pixel launcher. I haven't had any problems with it, nothing. So if you hear noise and stuff, I've got the windows open to the office, and it's really beautiful outside. It's raining, but it's nice and cool. But again, you pick your choice on what phone you would decide you would get. I want you to tell me in the comments which phone you would get instead of buying the Pixel that's in the $400 range or down, because there are a lot now to choose from. Again, I just chose this phone because I thought it was beautiful. I think the specs are really close. Now, while it doesn't outperform the Pixel in a lot of areas, it's still a very powerful phone. And I give this phone very high marks. I think this is one of the best Android phones in that $400 category, if not the best. It just depends on your opinion about what phone you think is best in the $400 range. Now, some people might say the OnePlus 3. I say otherwise. I don't think the OnePlus 3 is the best phone in that category. I think the Exynos 7 is one of the best. The OnePlus 3 is great. However, the Exynos 7 is packing some serious features. The speaker setup is just one of the main things. SD card slot. It's got a full metal build. It's got my favorite position, the rear-mounted fingerprint reader. And I just kind of like how that looks. But the Pixel is a very expensive phone, and it's $869 plus taxes, almost $1,000 for me. It's almost $1,000 with taxes for the 128 gig, which I can't find anywhere. And I end up getting 232 gigs. But other than the software, the Pixel is a great phone. The software is killer, but the hardware is just sexy. It's good. It's not blow your mind hardware. We all know this. We figured this out. But I'm definitely always going to consider price if someone asks me what phone they should get. People have been asking me, that question has been 1 million times asked to me. You heard the saying, I'm going to say if I had $1 for every time I had a person ask me that in a comment, that's $1 million. That is like the number one question on when people ask me about the Pixel. What phone should I get instead of the Pixel? Well, that's a huge thing to tell you, but I would recommend you grab the Exynos 7 for sure. Out of all the phones that you see me here have in my office and have on this desk, this is the phone that I would actually tell you to buy over the Pixel if they were sitting there in front of you. This comes in two colors, the quartz gray and this ion gold. And the Pixel comes in really just two colors because the blue color is limited. You can't really get it anymore. If you can't get it from Verizon or you couldn't get it from the Play Store, you're not going to be able to get it. It comes in black and then it comes in silver basically. And this comes in silver and gold, if you want to say it that way. But the feel in hand of this phone feels really good. It's a great alternative to those that were contemplating getting the Pixel XL or the Pixel. This isn't a very big phone either. It's really nice, and I think you guys will really enjoy this phone over buying the Pixel. So tell me in the comments some of your recommendations for people who ask what's a good phone to get instead of the Pixel, because the Pixel is expensive. It cost me $844 or something like that for the 32 gig with no expandable storage. But I really enjoy the Pixel. But if I'm comparing the two, I don't know that I enjoy the Pixel more than this phone because you have to consider price. So in the comments again, tell me which phone you guys think will be a good alternative for buying the Google Pixel. And give a serious comment, a valid point to be made. I'm not challenging Pixel or Exynos owners. I just chose to pick up this phone, and I thought, you know what, this phone definitely deserves some recognition over the Pixel XL. No battle or anything like that. I just think this is the better buy when it comes down to it. Now, granted, I purchased them all, but I'm a reviewer, so I'm able to do it and get them. You're not going to go out and buy 3 Pixels. You don't need to do that. So if you had a final say-so in a phone, my recommendation would be to you, if we were standing next to each other in the store, the Exynos 7. If both of those phones were sitting next to each other, I would say grab the Exynos 7. You heard it. It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.